Hey, so in this video we'll be doing the Easter eggs and predictions for Season 4, Episode 14 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so beware spoilers if you have not caught up, plus the promos and sneak peeks. So, uh, what their first stop in this episode was basically to Alaska, and they come across a giant wall of Coulson pretty much, and if you stop and freeze frame, like the screen, you'll see some photos of Coulson from season 3, when he was dealing with the Inhuman Charles, who could project the future to other people. And then there was a picture of Coulson and Mac from season 4 when he was dealing with Eli and Robbie and all that kind of stuff. But then you have pictures from Coulson's team throughout the years. Actually, makes sense for Quake and Patriot because he hates the Inhumans. So of course he would put a picture of them on the wall from when Daisy was put into spotlight and put on the newspaper and all that kind of stuff. Uh, but a nice, cool little connection with the whole Russia aspect of Anton's life is Ward and Fitz actually in Russia back in season 1 of episode 7, I think it was, called the Hub. Uh, there's a picture of them being rescued and all that kind of stuff. So it's nice that they have that kind of weird type of connection there. But it also shows how long he's been searching with on Coulson, at least since season 1. So or found Coulson. Uh, but then you have like offhand comments about a TV show called This Is Your Life. I don't exactly know what it's about, other than it's a documentary series. As far as I understand, it's in the UK, but also there's an American version of it. I still don't know what kind of documentary series it is. But so yeah, I guess it's not really important. But then another offhand comment about why Coulson doesn't like using Facebook is because of this giant wall that Anton made. uh, and in another scene later on, uh, Mac or Coulson says you should be looking out for booby traps and stuff like that, and something like that along the lines. But then says sharks with lasers on them, and Mac calls Anton a Bond villain. So those two comments in one scene, it was basically referencing Austin Powers, since Austin Powers is the parody version of James Bond, and did say did have the line "sharks with laser beams on them." So, in in the flashback, we're getting like the information about Coulson and May's missions early on, and how they became closer friends and stuff like that. But we get the origin stories of his glasses pretty much, and we actually hear the phrase "OA4" for the first time in a long time. I don't remember them saying it in season 3. So, but they did say it a couple times in season 2. So I would believe that's the last time we actually even heard anyone say it. But then we have like like different levels of Shield back then, with Coulson being level 4 and level May being level 3. So it's not too far off from where we saw Coulson, because he was level 8, I believe, in season 1. So 4 levels off. I don't know how long it took Coulson to get there, but then you have like Coulson was called comparing May to Rambo. Coulson says something about a Gold's Gym membership or something like that, and all it is a gym. It's nothing special there, but I guess people are gonna go to Gold's Gym now. Like, but then you have like a kind of confirmed like timeline around here. Like they never said what like timeline it is, but they say that May's dating a shrink and all that kind of stuff, and that's actually a reference to her ex husband Andrew, and I'm assuming it takes place about 15-ish years ago, because from this current timeline, the Bahrain happened 10 years ago. So at least give them a 5 year span to get like start dating, get married, and stuff like that. So at least 15 years ago, this flashback could have happened. But that's all the references and Easter eggs I could find in the flashbacks. During the present day, there was a lot of different like different personalities and points of view clashing this episode in one way or another, but not really. The biggest ones were like Fitz and Mac, since Mac doesn't like a lot of robots and like advancements. Like he clashes with Fitz's science brain and all that kind of stuff, but Mac calls out the virtual reality simulator as the Matrix, and the Oculus Rift, which is just a virtual reality simulator in the real world. So it's apparently in in the MCU as well. But a lot of people, like the audience, were really kind of harsh when Mac said what he said. He wasn't saying anything bad. It is his own opinion, and he only did say that there's a thin line between science and mad scientists, which there is. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has proven that the world is not black and white. There's a very thin line between hero and villain. Like, heroes aren't 100% heroes, and the villains aren't 100% villains most of the time. But and then he also says it's not Fitz's fault and all that kind of stuff. He just needed to be more careful about what he created and who he gave his inventions to and stuff like that. So he isn't wrong about it. He just came across defensive because he is a person that doesn't like a lot of doesn't like aliens, or he didn't like aliens. He doesn't like robots and stuff like that. So he becomes passionate pretty much. But on the other hand, you have like more visual, like it's what's called Anton is against Inhumans, against robots even further than Mac. So he would be on like what's called Mac and Anton would be like on a gray area. Like there is like they could become good. They could also be Mac could become bad if they really wanted to. But there's a very thin line between those two, and he mentioned like during his conversations with what's called Mace, he mentions Fury, he mentions Starks, and we find out what his motives are, and but also like I was saying that there's a thin line between Anton and Mac. There's a Mac basically says there's a thin line between Fitz and Radcliffe. Like they could switch places whenever. But we get his motives and all that kind of stuff. And I appreciate what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been doing with this character. Not a lot of people do, but I do like the aspect of a naive villain. Because as far as like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has gone, there's been like smart villains, strong villains, weak victim villains and stuff like that from their past. So having a naive villain that really has no idea what is actually going on, it's just really weird and just entertaining and a breath of fresh air for me. And so yeah, and during the actual mission in present day Russia, we get like uh, what's called Davis and Simmons going off to find Ada and all that kind of stuff, and Davis says talking about the labyrinth and the Goblin King. It's just the movie Labyrinth. I don't exactly know what it's about other than those two names because I've never watched the movie honestly, but yeah. Then Coulson has a conversation with Anton before Daisy starts fighting him, and he basically calls him a red shirt, in which I've explained in an earlier video, is a red shirt is just a Star Trek reference, and Daisy has a reference to a book called Animal Farm. I forgot to look it up, and but as far as I understand, it was only something about Russia, so comment down below what it actually is about. But yeah, so for predictions, those were all the Easter eggs I could find in references for predictions. So beware spoilers if you have not watched the promos and actual sneak peeks. So as far as we know, uh, apparently what they're trying to say is that all four of the Shield agents are LMDs: Mace, Mac, Coulson, and Daisy. But in the promo, it's showing a different side of this reveal, and they're only showing Mace and Coulson and May in the framework. So, if Mac and Daisy were actually LMDs, wouldn't they want to show that? So they're obviously showing them that for a reason, and there's going to be a big twist coming, and so we already know that Fitzsimmons and Davis all went into the scanner to get to the base, and Fitzsimmons went first, and then the four people went later. So it could have been on a delay, and it just made it seem like the four people that went through the scanner at that minute, it made it seem like those were the four people, since either Fitz or Simmons or Davis. I don't think Davis would be, because that would just be weird. But uh, it's possible that I have to let go of the Fitz being an LMD, but it's possible that Simmons is an LMD and she's just playing Fitz this whole time. But the only reason I'm saying Simmons is because Fitz has had a lot of more character development with his father and basically his fault, so it would make more sense if he's the one responsible to figure out all this kind of stuff and how to stop the LMDs from invading Shield. So yeah, I think he's not an LMD, but Simmons is, and I can't see Radcliffe or Ada like letting Daisy still be on the base because of her powers and all that kind of stuff. So I would assume that she's the one replaced. But also, the reason Mac I can't see being an LMD is because he's also anti robots and stuff like that. So I want to see May be the one to actually, the LMD May be the one to actually help and rescue people, and show Mac that not all LMDs are bad LMDs. And I don't know who he could possibly be, but it looks like the Superior is going to be someone from the comics, or possibly could. So comment down below if he could be any comic book character at all. See ya.